And with that, it's a pleasure to welcome in the new head coach of the DePaul Blue Demons, a past Big East Coach of the Year when he took Butler to the Sweet 16. It is Chris Holtmann joining us now. Chris, Holt, welcome back to the Big East. It's great to have you here at the Garden. When you walk in this morning and you see the other coaches, you see these other logos again, how is it being back in the Big East Conference?
No, I mean, it gets the adrenaline flowing. It really does. You get excited about, I've watched you guys at the Big East tournament. It is just so unique in today's climate to have a league that is this focused on basketball, and basketball being good, and I love being back in it.
Coach, it feels like we've been talking about the potential with the DePaul job for years and years and years, and multiple staffs. But with your past success and what you've seen, what attracted you to this move?
Probably that. It was the challenge of doing this at a place that was so hungry to do it. And, there were some options to sit out a year or look at other options. This one appealed uniquely because of the challenge. And I understand that it's not going to be an overnight to be able to sustain success, but it's a city that's really hungry for success. And we might do it a little bit differently than the way it's been done before, but we'll get to where we want to get to.
Coach, tell us a little bit about your team and some of the leadership that you're hoping to count on this year. You got a big guy, David Skogman, stretch big, who can shoot the three, 6'11". What about him, and what does he bring to your team? And then maybe a little bit about Isaiah Rivera as well, another older guard that can score on and off the ball.
Well, you mentioned two really important guys for us. They both bring a great skill level. One of the things I did is I looked at our 8 tournament teams between Butler and Ohio State and kind of what was their consistent theme or two within the roster construction. One of the things was really high skill level and also, a unique versatility on the front line. So you mentioned David. David brings, he's maybe the best shooting big in the country. Shot an incredible percentage, I believe plus 46% last year from 3 at Davidson. Yeah. So he is very much a stretch big, and yet he's also old enough and big enough to be able to play down low when needed. Isaiah brings great shooting on catch and shoot, and we have a number of guys that shot over 40% at their previous stops, which allows us to open the floor.
And then you have a guy to engineer things in a Drake transfer in Connor Enright, who was second in the Missouri Valley Conference last year in assist-to-turnover ratio. Yeah. How would you define Connor?
He's going to be really critical for us. He's a young man we'll have for 2 years. He's got winning experience, albeit in a little bit of a lower level, but we all know how good those Valley transfers have been at other places. So, John, his impact is going to be critical. Him along with Layden Blocker to be able to get the point guard position kind of nailed down where we have a little bit of depth there and we can really lead moving forward was critical with both those guys. And both those guys have been great, but Connor's leadership has been really obvious here in the early part of the year.
Coach, as you build this thing and try to figure out how you want to kind of build a culture, identity is such a big part of a coaching program and building a program. And I know it's too early to kind of determine that, but as you embark on this journey, how do you want to be known? What do you want people to think of when they think of DePaul basketball?
I think this year's team on the floor, I think you'll see skill. You'll see a degree of IQ across the board in terms of how we play. You'll see versatility among being able to shoot it and play at different spots. We won't always look like the fastest team, but we are going to play with great pace, more pace than maybe we have. And then I think we need to really be a resilient team and a resilient program. And I think that is important as you're building, is to find kids that have a resiliency to them as you go through the normal ups and downs of rebuilding something.
Coach, it's obvious with your roster and when you even talk to other coaching staffs that you've dramatically improved the club offensively, especially shooting. But your big-time teams at Butler were known for the defensive end. Have you gauged yet? Where do you think you are on that end?
We need more practice time.
That's a good, honest answer.
We definitely need more practice time. I worry a little bit about our rim protection. I worry about how we're going to be in ball screen coverage consistently. Mm-hmm. We do have some guys in Layden Blocker Connor, he mentioned, who perimeter can defend on the perimeter. But no question, I think we're not where we need to be on that end yet. What I've learned, I'll be honest with you, is what I've learned. We had really efficient basketball teams, all of our tournament teams. All of them could defend, but if you can't score in today's climate, you got no chance. You've got to be able to score the ball.
Holt, before we let you go, what do you like most about Chicago?
Pizza, the food, number one.
I can get behind that.
The weather has been incredible. It's been an incredible
Shocking.
summer.
Holt, good to see you.
Great seeing you, John. Great
Appreciate
seeing
In
you
the
it,
guys.
Coach. Thank you.
corner, Kim Adams has a